Welcome to the Battle Creek Area Association of Realtors Pathway to Homeownership. We are excited to bring you this presentation and give you enough information that you can move forward confidently in the process of purchasing your first home. It's an exciting time in your life, and we're here to help you with that and to decide whether or not it's for you. Everyone is paying for a roof over their head. Tenants pay their rent and they have 30 days to live in that home. Homeowners increase their home equity by paying down their mortgage balance each month. Their equity is then the difference between the value of their home at the time and the amount that they still owe on their mortgage. So let's move that forward just a little bit over time and go into a little bit more detail. As a tenant, you're going to sign a lease for a 12 to 24 month period of time for $1,400 a month for a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom home, apartment most likely. A homeowner is going to have a mortgage of about the same amount for a 3-bedroom, 1.5-bathroom home that might even have a garage and a basement and a fenced backyard. So let's fast forward a couple of years. As a tenant, you have faithfully paid your rent every month. It's time for you to renegotiate your contract. Your rent's probably going to go up to $1,500 a month. Whereas if you're a homeowner, your mortgage is going to stay the same unless your taxes increase or your insurance increases. Over that period of time, you've paid down your mortgage and probably have about $3,200 in equity built up. Your property values have also gone up over that period of time. Property values probably gone up by about $12,000. Plus, you've had the benefit of writing off your mortgage interest and your property taxes when you pay your taxes. All of that adding up to about $15,000 to $18,000. Now let's move forward 25 to 30 years. As a tenant, you have faithfully paid your rent for the last 25 to 30 years. You've probably had to renegotiate your contract every 12 to 24 months with rent increases of about $100 each time. You have zero personal financial benefits to show for that. Whereas a homeowner, you have been paying down your mortgage this whole time, increasing your equity month by month and year by year. Your property value has also gone up significantly. Going forward in retirement, the only thing you're going to have to worry about is paying your taxes, maintaining your home, and paying for your insurance. And you can decide whether or not you want to stay in that home and live mortgage-free, or if you want to sell it and live off the equity.
Now, there is advantages and disadvantages to being a homeowner. A disadvantage to being a homeowner is that 1, you now have to pay property taxes. 2, if there's any repairs needed on your house, it's coming out of your own pocket. And 3, let's say you have to relocate for work, it's gonna be a much slower process because now you have to worry about selling your house first. Many people think that paying for property taxes and big ticket repairs is a disadvantage to homeownership. But a landlord simply collects the rent paid by the tenant to pay for these expenses as they arise. When you become a homeowner, you will have to develop the discipline to set money aside for these purposes. Now, an advantage to being a homeowner is that now you have an investment on your hands. 2, you're building equity every month that you make your payments. And 3, you're setting yourself up for financial freedom in the future. Now, having a lender and a realtor on your side in which you can trust is very important. Keep in mind, you're making one of the biggest purchases that you will probably do in your lifetime. Knowing that you have these 2 parties in your side helping you and guiding you in this process that can be very complicated is very important. Now, one of the questions you want to ask your agent, first is you want to ask your agent, is the house that you're looking to buy, has it been cleared by the city? Does it require any special permits? And is there a occupancy permit? You also want to ask your agent, has this house been inspected by a licensed professional? And most importantly, you want to ask your agent, does this house have a clear title? Some of the things that you should be aware of for the buying process. 1, it is not a fast process. This process requires patience, determination, and a lot of planning. You want to do the planning with your agent. You also need to be aware that you need some money. You need to save up some money because there will be expenses and costs towards this process.
We will look at the following documentation to determine if you qualify. One is your credit history, two is your employment and income history, and third is your assets to make sure you have enough funds for your down payment closing costs. When shopping for a mortgage, the lender is going to require documentation, so we're here to prepare you to make sure that you have the documents ready for it. We will look at the following three things: credit score requirements, trade line requirements, and housing and work history. Credit score requirements are typically 640 for government loans and higher for conventional loans. Typically 3 trade lines of credit with 12-month history is required. For housing and work history, we will need landlord information, 2 years of employment information, and 2 years of resident information. If you pay by cash, there are other acceptable sources of credit history you could use: cell phone payment history, car and rental insurance payment history, cable or internet payment history, utility payment history, and any other monthly payment accounts if it meets the 12-month payment history requirements. Accounts need to be in the borrower's name.
If you're working with a lender, they're going to be looking for income documentation, and your income can be derived from several different types of income. You can have a W-2 income, you can have self-employed income, you can have retirement income, and Social Security income. If you're a W-2 employee, we're looking for your last 2 years of W-2s, your last 30 days of pay stubs, your last 2 years of federal returns, and if applicable, a friend of the court child support documentation. If you are self-employed, it can vary, so check with your lender and they'll go over with you the types of information such as federal returns, profit and loss statements, balance sheets. If you are retired, we're looking for your last 2 years of 1099-R. If you are on Social Security disability, we're looking for your last 2 years of 1099 SSA, Social Security disability. And then we're also looking for anywhere from 60 to 90 days worth of your bank statements showing those deposits. So your lender is going to ask you for asset information. They're wanting to verify that you have the means for the cash to close, the closing costs, and other fees associated with purchasing a property. We can use bank statements, your last 60 days of actual bank statements. We can use your 401k, your last quarterly statement, and then we can also look at potential gift from a family member. Again, we're going to document where those funds are coming from, so we may ask for a bank statement from your donor and then proof of where the funds originated. So before you go out and start looking at a home, the first thing that you need to do is complete an application with your lender. Your lender will then pull your credit, and they're going to ask you for those income documents and the asset documents that we talked about previously. The types of home loan options available: we have conventional financing, we have government financing, which includes the FHA, Federal Housing Administration loan, the VA loan, the Veterans Administration loan, and RD, Rural Development loan, also known as USDA. Conventional financing allows as little as 3% down if you're a first-time home buyer. It also allows the seller to cover a portion of your closing costs. The FHA loan allows as little as 3.5% down, another product where the seller potentially could cover some of your closing costs. The VA product is a great product for our military and our veterans that does allow 0% down, and it also allows the seller potentially to cover some of your closing costs. The Rural Development loan, also known as the USDA loan, the RD loan, also allows you to come in with little to no money down for your down payment, and it also allows the potential for the seller to cover some of your closing costs. There are other home loans out there that may allow you to have some down payment assistance programs. You'll want to review that with your lender to find out which fits best for you. When we talk about your funds to close, also known as cash to close, it's the total amount needed to bring to the closing on the day of closing, either by cashier's check or wired funds. It typically includes your down payment, closing costs, prepaid items such as interest, mortgage insurance, homeowner's insurance, and property taxes, as well as any homeowners association fees that may be applicable.
By now, you have built a relationship of trust with your agent, who will now help you in your search for that perfect home that meets your budget requirements. Your agent will send you any home that comes on the market that meets your criteria. And when you're ready to view a home, they will set up an appointment for you to see it with them. Once you have found a home that you would like to make an offer on, your agent will help you to put together the best offer that you can make and begin working on the necessary documents to present to the seller. Your agent is going to put all those documents together for you according to what you agree on your asking price, any concessions that you want, etc. And then your agent is going to present that document to the seller's agent, and the seller will decide whether or not they want to accept that offer. They may accept the offer, or they might counteroffer. And then you're going to go into negotiations until you reach an agreement. And both parties have signed those documents, and now you are under contract. So now that both parties have signed the contract and you're ready to move forward, you've got your inspections done, and you're ready to hand things back over to the bank. The bank is going to file that contract, and they are going to order up your appraisals and your title work. And then there's a whole process of underwriting to go through. Once underwriting gets done with your file, we will hear those coveted words, clear to close. And then your agent will schedule with your title company a time for closing. You'll go to the closing table, sign your documents, and be handed your keys to your new home.
So I hope that this presentation was helpful to you. I know we couldn't answer every question that you might have had, but our hopes is that we at least gave you a good direction into the path to being a first-time home buyer. If you feel comfortable after this presentation that you can take the next step, I just ask that you call your favorite agent, an agent that you can trust, along with a lender that will help you buy that dream home.